I'm Mason.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet
Hey,
you.
how you doing?
Good to meet you. Hi, I'm Mason Sansonilla for Young Entertainment Mag. Could you take a moment to just to introduce yourself to our readers and viewers?
Hi, I'm Megan Stott, and my episode is My Monster.
Hi, I'm Gabriel Bateman, and I play Jack from Parents Are From Mars, Kids Are From Venus.
Hi, my name is Jai Kulnik, and I play Luna in Witch Witch.
Awesome. So I've got a few questions for you all. Let's see. So, what were some of the biggest challenges in filming, or pick a challenge that stood out in your mind? Could be personal, could be a challenge with filming overall, something that had to be overcome. And how'd you do it?
You go.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. I'd say one of the challenges for me was we a lot of it was going to be CGI, so it wasn't practical. So they had to wear like these green suits so that they could CGI the tentacles. But trying to stay in character when everyone was walking around with like green arms and like waving their arms behind the camera, and also having to do that myself and trying to like have a heartfelt moment was really, really hard for me. So I'd say that was probably one of the bigger challenges.
Probably for me, it was the horror, because I've never done horror before, and it was really interesting to like get into that place and be able to actually look and act scared when I wasn't really scared in the moment. But yeah.
I think for me, the biggest challenge was taking Luna, who's such a big and bold character. I think one of the traps can be playing her as kind of a caricature. So the challenge for me was making her really relatable and finding what is human about her that audiences could relate to.
How'd you go about that?
Well, she is a very comical character, and she also has a lot of confidence. So I found the parts of myself that I could connect to that, and I just tried to show them through the lens of her character.
Care to give us an example?
What kind of example?
No, I'm not sure. Something, I guess, what's something that you drew on for her sense of humor?
Well, she's really quick-witted, and I was really lucky because our director really loved when we improvised and kind of riffed off each other. So, and we had an amazing cast as well who was really open to playing like that. So at the ends of scenes, we would kind of just keep things going, and it would be a really fast-paced comic timing. And after a while, you kind of just get into the pacing of it, and that helped me just stay in character.
Well, for me, I think that the most challenging part of filming was maybe just the physicality, I probably want to say like the physicality, the stunts. There were a couple of times there were actually a lot of times where I had to run, especially up and down the stairs. And there was like one specific scene where I had to run up the stairs and do my own stunt by, like falling down. And so just perfecting that and making sure that it looked as real as possible was probably just the biggest thing that might have been a challenge or that I wanted to really keep in mind while filming.
Yeah, for me, it was definitely the physicality too. I remember there was a scene where I'd crawl out a window, and in between takes, I would have to have like one leg in the window and like the rest of my body out, and the window was so little, so it was like the way like my body was, it was so painful like physically, but so yeah, that was challenging for me.
How did you two connect to your characters? Because from what I understand, you do have a couple of the heavier episodes in the series.
Yeah.
So,
Well, for me, the way that I prep for any character is by I try and understand and relate to the character as much as possible, because as actors, it is our job to never judge our characters, to never question our characters with whatever choices that they're making. And so for me, I just wanted to really sit down and hone in on why Ella was making the decisions that she was making, like really get to the bottom of that. And I could really relate to her when it came to just the new sense of change and dealing with friendships and dealing with the healing process. I know for me, especially, during COVID, a lot of people in the past year, their losses have been such a major topic and have been such a major theme. And so just kind of I grabbed, what everybody goes through in their everyday lives and what we're experiencing in our normal world, and I pulled all those feelings, all that pain, all that hurt into what Ella's going through. And I think by doing that, hopefully it made it authentic and feel real and grounded.
For me, a way I connected to my character was really the healing process that he went through, as far as accepting the loss of something or someone you love. So that was something that we both connected on, me and my character.
Okay. What was a first on this shoot? Something that you'd never done before, either on a shoot or just in life in general?
Something I have never done before on the shoot. I've never done special effects to that extent before. Seeing the behind the scenes process of like creating the haunted skull, the demon skull, that was really cool. Or even, like I said, just kind of like watching the process of the hair and makeup and the costumes, just like being fully immersed into that. That was a first and definitely cool.
For me, a first for me was probably passing out. There was a scene where I had. I'm from LA, so Atlanta weather is completely different from me. And there was a scene where I had to keep running up a hill, and it was so hot and humid that day, and I was kind of dehydrated, and I nearly passed out.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Actually, going into that, what's something that each of you learned from another cast member on set? Could have to do with the filming itself, could have to do with life in general. Something that stuck with you.
I don't know. It wasn't that long of a shoot, so I don't know if there's that many like specific things. But I'd say I think just being around so many like hilarious comedians was new for me because I'm kind of used to doing more serious projects. So just kind of soaking in that and being in such a funny environment was really enjoyable for me, but also like new. And I think it kind of helps me with trying to act comedy because I haven't really done it before. So yeah, I'd say just in general from all of the cast, just helping me become more comedic.
Cool.
For me, I'd have to say, I'm not really sure. I mean, there was a lot of younger people on set, which was tons of fun, but I learned that it's harder to do horror than drama, I would say, actually, because you gotta like be scared and you have to have those true emotions when doing horror. So that was something that I definitely learned going into that. Yeah.
For me, I had a lot of castmates who are my same age, and they were all so amazing to work with. I learned from watching all of their performances, but I think I was really inspired by all of them to really go for it and not hold back and kind of just be shameless in your performance. And having everyone around me totally down to just completely dive into the character really inspired me to do the same.
So what was your favorite moment from recording? What was your favorite moment on shooting? Could just be something small, could be something big, but just something you liked in particular.
Something that I really enjoyed from the filming process was just being so immersed with the special effects. whether it was the ghost or the demon skull or some other fun surprises that viewers will see when they watch at least my episode. So yeah, so like just seeing the behind the scenes process of creating the haunted demon skull or getting the ghost ready, all of that was just super fascinating to me and really stood out to me from the filming process.
Something that was really cool to me was I feel like there was a scene where we're in a comic book store and we're in a comic book store and like just seeing all the comic books and stuff like that. That was something that was really cool to me.
I know for me, I got to ride a roller coaster like 4 times, and it's like the shortest scene ever when you actually look at it on the episode. But I got to ride it 4 times, and it was tons of fun because we're supposed to be screaming, and I don't really scream on roller coasters because I don't want to like hurt my voice or something. So it was definitely tons of fun, and it was something that I loved doing. It was tons of fun.
I really loved doing the magic, and I'm really excited to see how they do all the CGI stuff to make it come to life. My character arrives in on a tornado, and so it was really fun to spin into frame and, you know, be all dizzy from the tornado. And I'm really excited to see how it comes together in the end.
Actually, yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I think by far my favorite moment in the film was we had this scene in the van. Well, I guess it's 2 scenes, but the second part of it, where the van is supposed to take us to our home planet, basically, and it goes into space. So first of all, that was fun because we had to like jet backwards, and there was all these lights and stuff, and a lot of practical effects. So it was kind of fun to be around. But also, our parents the entire time are singing "Old Town Road" by Lil Nas. So that was like the funniest thing. Because the actors themselves, I don't think actually knew the song, or like at least didn't have it memorized. So they were like, the tune was totally off, but they were like singing to it the entire time while we were like going to space in the van. So that was probably my favorite moment.
Awesome. So
My favorite scene to shoot was probably there are two. It's the axe scene where I got to do a really cool stunt where I smash glass with an axe and able to grab some important documents. So that was really cool because I actually like got to break the glass with an axe, with an actual axe. So that was dope. And then also the final scene where Ella's having a heart-to-heart conversation with Dolores, because that monologue, everything that she's talking about forgiveness and how to move on and forgiveness and the importance of it, that really stood out to me. And I know for a fact that everything that Ella was talking about, it opened my eyes up, and I gained, honestly, a little bit of knowledge as to how I can move forward and giving out compassion and kindness to others. So there's a lot of wonderful hidden messages in this project, and it was cool. There are great scenes in it.
My favorite would have to be probably the part during the storm where when my treehouse collapses. It was a lot of effects and stuff they were doing as far as making the window open and stuff flying around the treehouse. That was really cool to me, and then how they were doing the leak and stuff. Everything, that whole scene, it was really fun to shoot. And that was my favorite.
did you get to see how all those effects worked before the scene went forward?
Yeah, and it's really cool seeing it behind the scenes and then like watching the final product and it's like you can't see anyone or anything that was like help holding something or pulling something back. So everything it was really good.
The whole thing looks different, right? Once it's all edited together. Yeah. Cool. Also, what was your favorite moment, not from the filming itself, but just your favorite moment from your own episode? Like a moment in the story that you really liked?
For me, my favorite moment in the storyline is when she's having this really nervous moment and she has a lot of anxiety when she's at school and she has this cheer moment and these girls want her to do this routine that she's never learned before and then be a flyer, and I mean, it's something that's really terrifying, and I think it was really cool because it's just something that I don't think you see a lot of like cheer routines in TV shows. So that was probably the funnest thing in the script. Yeah.
I really enjoyed the part of our episode where I have a moment of vulnerability with my cousin Fiona, and we kind of see eye to eye for the first time in the episode. I think it's really where the heart of the story lives. And it was kind of a surprising challenge to kind of come down into that level of vulnerability after being so extravagant and fantastical for the rest of the episode. But I think it offers a really great balance at the end.
Yeah, I would say my favorite part in the script is sorry, is probably when Jack and Ronald kind of have like a heartfelt connection with their parents for the first time, where they actually say they love each other and like show that they do have a child parent dynamic and it's not all like awkwardness and uncomfortability. Because I think that was kind of really earned and really rewarding after everything that they've been through, to show that they still like have a lot of love for each other, and their parents are still looking out for their best interest.
That's very cool. Let's see. What's a moment from, again, for each of you, from each of your episodes, that's one really funny moment and one really scary moment?
A really funny moment in my episode. Honestly, any moment between the ghosts, just those actors, Emily and Ben and Jackson and Kate did such a great job of bringing those characters to life. So honestly, any banter between the ghosts it always had me cracking up. And probably the scariest, that was the other part of the question, correct?
Yes.
The scariest part is probably when the demon skull like emerges for the first time and like in full effect, like just getting ready to knock those ghosts out. That's probably the scariest moment of the episode.
For me, the funniest, man, I would have to say either the scenes I was doing with the dog, because there were a lot of times where I was supposed to back into the dog, and it was a lot of scenes where the dog would either move and I would have nothing to back up on, or I just couldn't feel the dog, and it was a lot going on. But so yeah, that was probably the funnest or the funniest for me. And as far as the scariest, there weren't really a lot of scary moments in while we were filming, luckily. So yeah.
Gotcha. What's something that you'll carry with you from this shoot? Something that made a lasting impression, or something that you'll find useful for future shoots?
I think the easiest thing to say is that I've hopefully made a lot of long-term friends while filming. I think I've made like a lot more connections. Like Arjun that I filmed with, we're friends now. He's a great guy. Also, I've worked with Seth and David and Aaron before, but just being able to reconnect with them and film with them was super, super fun. So I think I've kind of strengthened and made a lot of connections. So I hope that's something that I'll be able to take away.
I think for me, the thing that I hope to take away is having a little more fun on set and being a little more adventurous. I think that's something that I really love doing, and I think I'm going to take that to other projects because it definitely made things a lot more exciting and different takes and things like that. Yeah.
I'm going to borrow Gabe's answer. I made a lot of really amazing relationships on set. I'm still really close with all of my castmates. And I think what I'll take away is, if I have another opportunity in the future where, our characters are really close, one thing that Rachel and I did to prep for playing witch cousins, before we started shooting, we went to a bunch of different metaphysical shops and kind of explored all of their crystals and their incenses. And it was a lot of fun to get into character with her. So I will take that forward to future projects I work on.
Awesome. Let's see. So actually, Lexi, what you mentioned about there being hidden messages for people to see, what is something that you hope people take away from your episode? This is a question for both of you.
The biggest thing that I hope that people take away from this episode is how to find your voice, how to gain the confidence to speak up for yourself and for what you believe in, to not become a victim of your circumstances, to not let your circumstances define you or control you. Like I said earlier, the healing process is incredibly important. Yes, in that moment, whatever you're going through, that loss, it may hurt. It may feel like you won't ever get over it, but that's just a tiny moment in this big, great life that you're getting ready to have. So just really make sure that you're staying in the present moment and not living in the past.
Cedric, what about you?
For me, I'll have to say, just that it's okay to grieve, and feel pain, and it takes time to heal.
I would just say that in general, I think your parents love you and they have they're looking out for you. And even though they may seem like harsh or weird or awkward at times, they're still just people. And I think as you grow older, you kind of realize that you're a lot more similar to them than you realize. So yeah, I think that's hopefully what people would take away from it.
For mine, I'd have to say it's about like communicating and being able to talk about your feelings and not kind of bottle it all up, because mental health is something that's really being talked about a lot. And I think it's something that's really important that kids know, and adults as well, that you should talk to somebody, whether it be your parents, siblings, friends, or therapist if you want. I mean, as long as you talk to somebody, I think that can help a lot, and being able to like be confident in what you're doing and face your fears.
I hope viewers take away a sense of inspiration or empowerment from my episode, that there is value in difference. And when it comes down to it, each and every one of us have at least something about us that make us really different and stand out. And that's not always a bad thing. It can be kind of scary to not know how you're going to be accepted or not. But I think Luna and Fiona really show how when you embrace who you are, magical things happen.
Very cool. Here's more of a physically grounded question, I guess. In terms of makeup and costumes, how was that as an experience? How long did it take? How did it turn out? How did it feel?
Mine took a bit longer in the mornings because I was wearing this really spiky, crazy wig, and I had purple contact lenses. And so there was a lens tech working with me all day, and I had these very long purple talons. And so that definitely took a long time. I wouldn't say necessarily in the morning, but definitely throughout the day, because all those things kind of had to be maintained. But they were really amazing as tools to help me get into character and really look like a completely different person.
For mine, I would have to say mine was pretty quick. I mean, I had most of the time a bedhead, and most of the time I was wearing PJs. So that was really nice. I actually ended up buying half of the PJs that they showed me because they were so comfy. So it was really nice to wear PJs all day.
I guess mine kind of depended on the day. Most of the time, I would say it was more like Megan's, where it's pretty easy, pretty casual clothing and not really any makeup or anything, just had to do my hair. But towards the end of the shoot, I had this crazy rash that is supposed to basically turn into like a florg or a tentacle. But that started to take some time towards the end, I guess probably like 20 or 30 minutes to like do all of that and like make it look really rash-like, but also glow in the dark and have this cool little hole in it. But I mean, we had such a great hair and makeup like crew, I guess. So they made it feel really easy and really fast. So yeah.
Awesome.
Well, for me, I had braids and just simple makeup. But for the ghosts, they had very intricate looks. They had to come into work way earlier than I did, and sit in the chair for like 2 to 3 hours and get their faces and their bodies painted, which was a very rigorous process. And then on top of that, they have their really cool costumes from the play that they did in 1938. So there's definitely an old Hollywood feel to the looks. But other than that, Ella and her classmates keep it pretty simple.
For me, it didn't take that long. It was more of trying to find the outfits we were going to choose for my real world and the alternate universe. And there were slight changes, and like the real world, I would wear Reebok in the show, and then the alternate universe, I would wear Nikes, and it was stuff like that, like slight changes and stuff that so the audience might catch that we would work on for outfit, but it wasn't anything crazy. So.
Gotcha. So what's something that you'll take from this shoot? Something that'll stick with you for the future, either for future shoots or just for the future in general?
I think that every set you learn something that makes you a better performer/artist. For me, it was really about what was happening behind the scenes. On every set that I'm on, I try and shadow or ask as many questions with the director and producers as possible. And so obviously each director has a different directing style, and each writer or producer has a different writing and producing style. So for me, I just kind of stepped back and really watched Mark Webb do his thing, because he's such a phenomenal director. And so there was so much that I picked up from him, so many tips and tricks that I'll definitely use one day when I'm lucky enough to start directing my own projects.
For me, so what's something I learned from my character and the plot of the show is that it's okay to grieve and be in pain. Yeah, and it takes time to heal for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's a valuable thing to carry onwards. We don't have much time left, so I guess this is just the last one. What exactly can viewers expect to see from your episodes, and if you can share, when can they expect to see it?
Well, for Just Beyond, you can see it on Disney Plus on October 13th, which is awesome. And all streaming, they all stream at the same time, so you can watch them all and binge watch them if you want. For my episode, it's definitely creaky floorboards, flickering lights, creepy monster that scares the daylights out of you. So there's definitely that. And you can also see some family moments, and it's quite cute, but also scary.
My episode, you can expect to see whimsical witches and too many bugs for my taste.
For my episode 2, you can expect to see aliens, space travel, and lots of magical trinkets and shops.
Very cool. All right. Gabe, Megan, Jai, thank you so much for talking to our readers. This was a lot of fun, and I know they're certainly looking forward to seeing this when the show comes out.
Thanks, Mason.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.